Hi Year 6 and welcome to Lesson 2 of your Hoverbike review. We're going to be looking at the negative aspects of the bike today and then finalising our report with a conclusion. So let's get started. You need to refer back to your notes first of all, where you wrote down the cons of your bike. These you should have made yesterday when you were writing both pros and cons. And you may have different ones to me, or you might have something similar to this. You might have talked about the noise, the difficulty to control, poor handling, easy to crash, no storage, few safety features, or you might have some other things, but this is the section you need today. On your planning sheet, you're writing the latter two paragraphs, so this part down here. You might use some negative emotive language today, awful, terrible, annoying, etc. And you're going to plan your ideas in this section here first. I've decided I want to write about the seats, the material and the comfort of the seats, and suggesting that leather might be better. I'm going to mention that there was no storage, and I'm going to talk about limited safety features. So I'm going to have a look at one here. Before you start writing, you need to think about your link sentence. Your paragraph needs to link to the one before it. So you're going to recognise that the bike had some great features or amazing features or great elements, and then you're going to point out some of the flaws in the bike or negative aspects or something similar. So we're using subordinating conjunctions here to get us started, which links back with the work we were doing last week on lost thing. I've got some examples. Whilst this bike had some great features, comma, so there's our subordinate clause, I need to point out some flaws with the bike, and then you're going to explain them further. Or you might start with something like, although the bike was amazing, there were many negative aspects that I need to explain, or something along those lines, and you've got a couple more examples there that you might use. So let's see how I've put that into a paragraph. Despite the many positive elements of this vehicle, I must point out some aspects of the hoverbike that I feel could be improved. Firstly, the plastic seat, which you have used in the design, was both uncomfortable and unsafe when wet. This could be easily upgraded to cushioned leather, which would give the rider far better comfort and grip. In addition to a seat modification, I feel the designer of the bike has completely overlooked the need for some storage. Perhaps a compartment, for a small bag, could be adapted beneath the seat. Another point I feel I must raise is the issue of danger. Whilst motorbikes do not have seat belts, I feel that since this vehicle can fly, the rider would feel far safer when travelling at top speeds of 40 miles an hour. This is something I believe your company has overlooked and could end up with terrible consequences if not addressed before releasing the bike for general sale. You can see I've highlighted some of this text in red. You've got your introduction sentence, your orientation sentence using that subordinating conjunction at the beginning, and then I've also highlighted some of the negative language, emotive language, that you might include in your writing as well. Now the next section of writing is the final section, which is your conclusion. And before we go there, we need to have a look at conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are sentences where one clause relies on the other, and all conditional sentences have an if clause. For example, if you make some minor changes to your hoverbike, it will be a fantastic new mode of transport which will fly into the future. Or, this will be a fantastic new mode of transport which will fly into the future if you make some minor changes to your hoverbike. So you can see how the if clause explains that something can happen if something else happens first. So it might be what we wish to happen or what might happen if we do something to change some of the aspects of the bike, and that's what you're going to suggest in your conclusion. So what you're going to mention in your conclusion is that if Levitation International considers making some improvements, then you think that this will be a fantastic bike. Or if the company takes some time to consider some further safety features, then it will be a great bike. So here you're going to mention in your conclusion some of the things that you thought could be improved when you were discussing negative aspects of the bike in your cons paragraph. These are what you're going to add in here. And then lastly, you're going to conclude with in conclusion or overall, finally. If you've taken the time to read this review, then they can make the modifications and have a fantastic vehicle for the future. You sign it off with yours faithfully, and that's the term you use when you don't know the name of the person who you're writing to. You use yours sincerely when you do know the name of the person you're writing to. We don't. We started our letter with Dear Sir or Madam. The last thing you're going to do today is have a look at this checklist and go through it and look through your own writing, and I want you to identify all the things that you've included in today's writing. If there's anything you've missed, then you can go back and edit it in. Notice how I've used a range of punctuation in my work, so have a look at that. You might want to pause the video at different points to see how I've used a range of punctuation, and then you can practice it yourself. Good luck today, and I look forward to reading some of your modelled writing.